The Autumn Sun levelling up late, they hit it. The Autumn Sun.
A serious racehorse, the Autumn Sun, blazes in spring, bolts in 6 lengths.
The Autumn Sun's really surging. The outside, yes. Oh, what a super win.
That's what great horses can do. They can win no matter what the scenario is, and that's exactly what the Autumn Sun showed in the Randwick Guineas.
It is one of the most stunning performances. It was Winx-like.
The Randwick Guineas effort will be remembered for a long time.
At $700,000 buys him now. I sell him out at $700. Last time, all done. 700,000 buys him.
Well, we went to the sale. We were given an order to buy a sort of a mile or 2,000 metre colt, and he was up early in the sale, and I sort of thought that, you know, he really fitted the bill. He was an athletic horse. He stood over plenty of ground, and he had a great sort of attitude that we really liked when we saw him, and we went back and saw him a few other times, and he kept impressing us the whole way through.
Well, the importance of Guy Mulcaster is he knows what we want, he knows what Australia wants, and he knows what works.
Yeah, I do remember the first time I rode the Autumn Sun in a routine piece of work at Rosehill. He was a lovely horse, had a great attitude, and you could really feel that he had those star qualities underneath you.
His ability was there very early, and we got to see him quite quickly. Obviously his first start, I think it was Anzac Day, and he came with a well-timed run to win impressively, ran a good time, over 1,200 metres.
He's sprinting quickly, the Autumn Sun moves up on the outside and takes the lead, and the Autumn Sun draws away from Denawi.
Second start, another good win, I think over 1,400 or similar, and then straight into a Group 1 race.
Yeah, remarkable to see him win a Group 1 at his third start in a race, and we knew that he was going to come back in as a better 3-year-old, a much more developed horse, and I couldn't wait for his 3-year-old year to start, that's for sure.
The Autumn Sun stretches and wins. The Autumn Sun ahead to Zusane.
A horse can only really get to a race at Group 1 level at their third start if they've got brilliance. So to be able to obviously run second up a couple of weeks later and then third up into a Group 1 race. So most horses can't do that. Extremely good horses can get to those races, but exceptional horses will win those races, which is what he did. Realistically, he didn't spell. I think he had 7 days off, and he's gone from those 3 runs as a 2-year-old, as well as a trip to Queensland. He's come back to be ready for a Golden Rose, another stallion-making race. And not only has he been under pressure as a 2-year-old, won a Group 1 colts race, he's come back and done it the early part of the spring. And yeah, that was an amazing win in itself. And then to go on later in the spring and win a Caulfield Guineas. So I guess you could call he had one preparation. He's managed to win 3 stallion-making races, and what horses can do that? Only the very, very good ones.
As a 3-year-old, he'd strengthened up and rounded up in all areas, and it looked like being his best campaign yet. And he went to the Hobartville first up. Once again, we were back in the field a little bit, standing them a little bit of a start, but he was dominant and showed that great will to win over the last 2 furlongs, and rounded up to Vega Days, done it quite comfy on the line, and we were pretty happy with that as a first up effort before we went into the Randwick Guineas second up.
And they're off in the Randwick Guineas, and Vega Days jump well.
Yeah, I remember having to have faith in the horse because we were giving them a big start. It was more than 10 lengths at the 600 metre mark, and they weren't stopping.
Fundamentalist, who would have foreseen this type of pace?
Kept him balanced around the corner, and once we straightened up, he really did lengthen out and got into that massive stride.
He just flattened out and just picked one off, one after the other.
It was a huge effort by the horse to be able to sprint and continue a sprint for so long.
Jane, the Autumn Sun, boy, you'll have to be good to win from there.
He just found under pressure a couple of times in the race where most horses wouldn't, and he not only won, but he just hit the line with so much momentum.
Surging, the outside, yes! Oh, what a super win!
I think that was the announcement that he was a class animal, overcoming so many things that could go wrong in a race.
And the Autumn Sun was such a special horse to be around. I'll never forget that Randwick Guineas day, and the style that he was able to do it in was phenomenal.
Where does the Autumn Sun fit in terms of horses I've trained? He's right up there. he's as good as they get, and he was a horse that was going to always continue to improve. So there's only one negative. We'll never know how good he is or was, but I do know that he's going to get every chance as a stallion, and I take comfort from that, because he's got everything that goes with ability, and that's the good looks, the good pedigree, and the great temperament that everybody wants when they're training horses, breeding horses. So all I can say is I've been lucky enough to train the best horse in the world for the time that she was racing, and I'd be confident enough to say that he was right up there.